Let's get to the Texas basketball commit first, and then we'll talk NBA playoffs and review that. Texas gets another one. This time, a Vanderbilt transfer guard, Malik Presley, who's actually returning to Texas. I would love to see. Maybe I have to do it, but damn it, I don't have enough time. I'd love to see a breakdown. I know one of these big entities like On3 or 247 Sports could do it because they have transfer portal databases they can do this stuff with. How many of these guys end up going back to their state where they played high school football or their home state? High school basketball, whatever.
High school sports.
High school sports, yes.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me, at least maybe it just feels like Texas, but it seems to me like a lot of these guys, once they hit the transfer portal, they seek familiarity. They seek going, seek some type of connection, and a lot of times that connection is back home, and or at least a university that's close to home. And here's another one because this young man, I believe, is a San Marcos product. And Malik Presley came out as a 3-star originally, ended up at Vanderbilt, and he is transferring a 6'6", 200-pound guard who has 3 seasons of eligibility remaining. Patrick, what are your thoughts about the addition of Malik Presley coming in from Vanderbilt?
So Malik Presley, and again, I'll say this, with the people coming back to where they come from, that happens a lot just in college, even without sports. You'll see that a lot.
That's true. Good point.
You see it, people just leave, and they're like, man, I can't wait to get away from my parents and get away. And then they realize, like, well, I got away from my friends too and everything. I'd like to get back closer to where I'm at.
That's fair.
So it just happens. And for Malik Presley, he was somebody that was recruited by Chris Beard in 2022 as well, and decides to go to Vanderbilt. This is a transfer that maybe not pay off a ton next season. He's a guy that didn't play a ton of minutes for Vanderbilt last season, just a freshman last season. Going to go into a lineup that's going to have some good players. But what he does bring is he's 6'6", he's long, he's athletic. So he is somebody that can kind of play in that guard forward position that if they can get his defensive game up a little bit, I think they're going to try and use him a little bit more as someone who can be long and come in and give him a few minutes off the bench to try and just get them, especially early in the season, get them a little bit of rest and try and help defend some of those teams, especially non-conference where they're not as big. You can put his frame with his length and his size and be able to get there. But I don't know if he's going to play a ton of minutes this year. You never know because it could be, Kendall Weaver is a perfect example of somebody that you really did not think was going to play any minutes this season, coming, basically not recruited, going to UT Arlington, and then, becomes a starter at a point in the season for the Longhorns. So you never know. Maybe he comes in and his progress over the offseason was great. Maybe Jerry Stackhouse wasn't using him correctly in Vanderbilt. It's a good addition. You have scholarships to give. You want to bring in young guys to the team. But I don't know if he's an immediate impact player for Texas, just because, again, Rodney Terry likes to play a 7 to 8 man rotation. He doesn't really play a lot of players, especially down the stretch. And so he's probably not going to be in that rotation. But you need those young guys. You need depth. You need to be able to bring it in. And if you have 13 scholarships, it's really, why would you not use all 13? You're not bringing any other recruits. So you might as well go out and get some other guys. So it's a good pickup. They also are still going to have to figure out Ritas Petritis, the guy we talked about from Air Force, decided to go to Cal over the weekend. So he will not be going to Texas. He went to Cal where Stojakovic also went. I think he realized he's probably going to be in the starting lineup in Cal. And he was not going to be in the start. He was going to be fighting for more playing time at Texas.
It's usually the purpose of the portal.
And so I get why he went. So, but that's where he is going. And then I saw on Instagram last night, Brandon Garrison, the 6'11" center that played for Oklahoma State last year, true freshman last season. He said he's making his decision today at noon. So that is a big one for Texas. That is coming down to, most people believe, Texas and Oklahoma. He did just visit Arkansas and Coach Calipari, so he did just make that trip, but they just brought in a transfer center from Tennessee, I do, who we played against in the tournament. So it's unlikely that he would go there. I think at Texas, he has a little bit more of a shot between him and Shedrick, that he kind of can go in and get a little bit more of a competition and play, and then it would be his after the season. So it'll be curious to see, but he'll make his decision, it looks like, around noon. And then depending on what Garrison does, if he comes, they have one more scholarship. If he doesn't, they really need to go out and get another big or two, and then they'll have one scholarship left that you'd like to see. You probably want to try and bring in a wing if you can, but that's what we'll see what they'll try and go after. I think they were kind of waiting on that Ritas Petritis decision, and now they're waiting on the Brandon Garrison before they can go out and start offering to some other people because, again, you only have 13. So you have to figure out who you're going to
offer, guys.
And Malik Presley might have been one that was kind of on that edge. And when we saw Petrides go somewhere else, they said, okay, you're in, because now we know we've offered to somebody else. Or but that one happened a lot quicker. That was not a that was one that was a little bit, but he's been there, he's visited, he'd already met, he knows Rodney Terry because he was already talking with Texas a couple of years ago. He's from San Marcos, so he knows the Texas program well enough. But yeah, he's one that, you know, you'll be excited to see early in the season. But Malik Presley is not someone that I would say is most likely going to be in the rotation. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah. And also something else I've said now about the new era of recruiting and the transfer portal era in every sport. It's recruit to the whistle, as my man Jerry Hamilton always said. It's never been more important to finish second or third in recruiting and make a good impression, and to be a gracious loser, right? Be like, hey, you know what? It's okay, young man. You're still gonna be great. You're gonna be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, hey, one day me and you we need to hook up again. I think it's fate. I think one day the gods are gonna bring us back together. Like you need to finish. Like it's hard to, when somebody break up with you, to be gracious in that moment. You basically need to be gracious while they break up with you. And you need to be grateful, because there are a 50% chance now that young man, young woman will be in the portal and they'll think, oh man, I used to love Coach. I had a really good time with them. And where are they now? Even if you're not at the same place, they may come to you and go, you know what? Coach has actually got a promotion. He's at this spot now. You know what? I think I might just go play for him or play for her because I like that.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, if you even say that, and I mean, you're talking about guys that, you know, you talk to that you may not have scholarships for when they come out of high school, and, you know, it's a 3-star, you know, that you think the potential is very high. If they have a little growth spurt or something like that, maybe we could bring somebody in. Those guys happen a lot, and it's, you have a relationship with them already, and basically you have the relationship of, yeah, man, if you go prove it, when we have a scholarship open up, we'd love to have you back. It's just not going to happen right now. And then you'll see some of those guys get brought into programs when they excel wherever they're at and get a little bit more playing time. That's you've seen that happen a little bit, especially Rodney Terry. That's one with Texas will have guys come in and just we just don't have a spot for you right now, but go learn something else.
You know what's happening though? It's a cheat code, and it's happening at places like Texas that are highly affluent and have sugar daddies and sugar mamas who are willing, who are dedicated to the program and want to support the programs. You know, they're able to supplement now student athletes without scholarships and say, hey man, we'll just give you a nice NIL deal.
Yeah.
It won't, you know what I mean? It won't be a scholarship per se. I mean, but it'll be enough to supplement, pay for all the stuff you need, give you a little spending money. And so why don't you come here as a walk-on with a preferred walk-on with an NIL deal. And you can add a really good extra player that way. Right?
Yeah, you can.
And you can do that in all the sports. And Texas, you know, I'm not saying I know it, but that's something behind the scenes that has been that they've been working on ways to do that for other sports.